welcome back. I'm considering slapping a timer on the main menu, but at the same time, I kind of don't wanna. It leaves you in suspense. For anyone who is wondering the approximate time that it takes to finish the intro song and for me to... It's basically my countdown to going live, like after starting the live button. It takes approximately 2 minutes and 22 seconds, if you're interested in that knowledge. Another beautiful day. By the way, that title is in fact not a joke. I was literally 2 minutes late because I'm like, crap, I gotta come up with a stream title that sounds interesting and funny. Couldn't come up with anything, and I'm like, there we go. Let's just make a joke about how I can't come up with one. That probably won't be the last one. Hopefully we do something a little bit better. Maybe one of these days we'll, I don't know, do a little bit extra with that? Maybe? Maybe not? Who knows? Ooh, golly. As per usual, as I start the stream and get the tar beaten out of me by these dusks, hi, I'm YellowFang42. I am beating up the same 10 dusks over and over and over and over again until I get approximately a total of 2.875, 875, or 876, 876, I don't remember, million XP. Because I want to beat up the Twilight Thorn at level 99. Why? Because I had a grudge a few years ago about it. That is one of the reasons, actually. It's not just because of hilarity, it's for revenge. Technically, I did a little bit of revenge at level 35, but then I proceeded to have the worst streaming week in my life until my power went out briefly and reset the modem. The modem is behaving, by the way. I fixed it. At least according to yesterday's stream. I am going to do a quick knock on the piano bench, as said in the notification, because, good golly, I don't want to get surprised by anything today. And if not, I'm going to add more and make a part 2 of that one compilation that I posted the other day. We're on a roll. Last stream we started at about like, I was going to say maybe 12,000. I don't remember now anymore. Which is really sad because I literally streamed this yesterday. But I definitely know that I got... Where did he go? Where are you going? Friend. Well, I guess not really friend, since he's trying to beat me up. Point is, fun. Sorry about all the tongue clicking. I forgot to drink water right before I started talking. Which means, guess what I'm gonna do as soon as I take out these 3 dusks? That's right. Drink water. Because, let's face it, water is very essential. Very essential. Much better. You know, there is something that has always confused me. Why do people not enjoy water? Does the water in their hometown just taste bad? Is that it? Does it not taste at all or something? Oh, for God's sakes, please don't do that to me. Oh wait, no, I'm just... Jeez. Sometimes... See, this is why the little marquee at the top is incredibly useful. Because if I didn't have the marquee, I would have thought that oh gosh, I lost a little bit of time there. Yikes. I legitimately lost a couple seconds. Oh, wow. Maybe. Or that's just me stopping. Oh my goodness. See, this is what I get for looking backwards. Literally in time. I'm keeping an eye on both streams, both on the YouTube and the Twitch side. Hopefully, all is well today. Yay! But we're off to a great start. I think that's the first 4 all stream, which I think we're making good progress already. I'm very excited. Obviously, I don't think we're gonna get to level 43. Technically, it is plausible if I just push to like a 3.5 hour stream. I don't want to wear myself out, though. I don't want to go crazy. Even though Wednesday is my skip day. I do Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and that is it. No Friday streams anymore. I'm not doing that. For some reason, I need, like, a full 3-day weekend to function. Don't know why. Maybe I'm just a little tired or something. I don't know. But I think it's also just, it's 1 day between a stream, and then it's 3 days between 2 streams in a row, so Maybe that's it. I don't know how my spoon allocation works. Am I allowed to use the spoon? You know what? I'm using the spoon allocation because it makes sense to me. I have a limited number, and I will use them. Fortunately, it takes 3 days, or basically a 3-day weekend, to run the dishwasher of spoons. There. Makes perfect sense. Yay! That's what the R&R is. It's running the dishwasher so then the spoons are nice and clean and you can use them again. At least that's my idea of the analogy. I know other people use the analogy differently. Oh, dear God. Oh, no. I saw that. I'm watching you. Seriously, I have to... Oh, jeez. I am so sorry for punching the mic like that. Whew, that was a little scary. Let me just stare down my Wi-Fi connection and use the power of concentration to keep it stable. Please behave yourself. I'm trying to have a decent running stream. I'd like to not start the compilation again. Okay. I think we're chill. We're chill. We're chill. Yeah. We're chill. We're making a lot of progress. We're also getting 3 dusks that are aspiring to be weed whackers. No thank you. That reminds me, I need to get a 100-foot extension cable. I got a 50-foot one, and that was a mistake. I should have gotten the 100-foot one. But I was like, oh no, 50 feet will be fine. No. You're always wrong with that. It's gonna need to be longer. Always. When it comes to extension cords, go longer than you think it needs to be. Also, make sure that you're picking the extension cord for the correct appliance. You don't want to find out that you have the wrong amp cord for that. Would not want to find that out, because then you get all sorts of fun things like overheating cables and melted plastic, and you don't want either of those. That's how I lost my last power cable, and I am very depressed about it still. Okay, I'm not very depressed about it. I'm still annoyed by it, though. It's one of those things. At least on the bright side, when dealing with the weed whacker specifically, I have had the courtesy to myself to always save at least one bit of packaging from whenever I buy new rolls of the wire for to feed into the weed whacker for the string. It's nylon string, let's be real. But I always make sure to save at least one package of it, like the plastic thing, so that I know which label I need to look for. Very useful in case it's one of those things you don't get very often. Either take a picture or save the label. Obviously, if it's something that has food contamination on it, go for the picture option. It will save you a ton of grief in trying to remember what specifically you want, and in case you need to send somebody to get the thing. Like, for example, I should have taken a picture of a package from Meatballs, back to the food thing again, and it was just because I was like, okay, maybe, just maybe, one day I'm gonna have to track down where to get more of these, because like for a short period of time I wasn't able to get the type that I liked, and I'm very specific about the things that I choose, because if I end up liking the brand, I know that it's the specific formula and how they make it, and if it's not the same, it pisses me off. Also, it has the potential to upset my stomach. It's actually, it's also just out of caution for my poor gut's health, because I had several years of issues with acid reflux, which unfortunately meant that my esophagus got burned so badly from the acid reflux and from other things that if like I had a stomach bug and threw up, it did not burn coming back up, which is not good, by the way. If it stops burning and it's something that should burn, that's a bad sign. Thankfully, I am back to my functional esophagus, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. But I do pay attention to the labels and stuff, so I had to call in, I had to call family at home and be like, hey, can you check on the package that I still have? Because I discovered, hey, it's back, but I want to double check that it's, okay, is it just a bigger package of the particular type of meatballs that I like? Or is it a new formula and I'm gonna have to find something better now? I was gonna say I do think that it might have changed, but I haven't broken into that package just yet. I will eventually. Thank goodness it's frozen, so I don't have to worry too much. I will have to worry eventually because I don't want to freezer burn the food. Freezer burn food sucks, by the way. Doesn't cook well, doesn't hold moisture, just sucks all around. The only reason I know this is because I am a human who does not like wasting food, even if it's... Oh, okay, maybe not even if it's rotten, but... yeah. Or if I did something like... I'll give a new example of, like, how much I hate wasting food. One example... These are... Actually, I have two examples. They are both potato incidents. Mashed potato incidents. The one that I laugh a lot at is the solanine incident. Solanine, if you don't know, is a neurotoxin that in high doses can cause a lot of issues. And it also happens to be a component in the green part of potatoes when they start turning green. That's where you get solanine poisoning. I have trouble sometimes spotting some colors. I'm not colorblind in particular, but I wasn't really paying that much attention to the fact that the potatoes were green. So I made mashed potatoes out of these potatoes. Oh, for God's sakes, OBS, quit it. Behave thyself. Okay, it's not OBS. I know it's not OBS. My fucking Wi-Fi. I have to stare at it. Anyway, solanine. I made mashed potatoes out of this. I got the nastiest, sharpest stomachache of my life. It wasn't like the bleh, all over the place issue. It was more of, ow, this really hurts. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, I just had green potatoes and I am a dum-dum. But I also had a really bad habit of overdoing my portions in food because my eyes were frequently bigger than my stomach. This is still a regular occurrence. I've tried to curb it. It's gotten a lot better. It's definitely gotten a lot better over the years. So I was like, okay, nobody in the house eat these things, and the next day I had a second bowl, immediate result of stomachache, and I was like, no, I have to throw this out. But I did throw out the poisonous potatoes. And that was a lesson learned. But I was still depressed about having to throw it out, because I'm like, no. And I'm like, it only gives me mild stomach aches. But, it's still poisonous, so probably not a good idea to eat. Such a shame. Such a shame. The second example of me not wanting to waste food and shenanigans involving potatoes, this was, shoot, this is actually in 2018. I'm pretty sure I documented this. I took a picture of it because I'm like, oh my gosh, I did not want to forget about this, to never make the mistake again. During that period of time, I was watching the house, and I was just basically going through the motions of life. I get up, I go to work, I stop at home for lunch briefly, I go back to work because I was close enough, and then I get home, I make dinner, I watch, I don't know, YouTube videos or shows for hours, and then I go to bed at like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I do the whole thing over again. So I was already kind of in a weird spot. And I sometimes would boil potatoes to make mashed potatoes, because I like mashed potatoes. They're delicious. I forgot about them, and then I realized it. The water was almost completely boiled out, so the bottoms of the potatoes were burnt that were touching the bottom of the pan. It took forever to scrub that out, by the way. That sucked. And then, instead of the logical thing, which was to remove the skins off of the potatoes so that I didn't have to eat ash and burnt, I kept the skins on the potatoes as a reminder to myself to never forget about my potatoes again. It was a very strong reminder, and I have never forgotten it. Was that a good idea? Probably not. Was it kind of cruel to myself? Yes. Did I forget my potatoes ever again? No, but I did forget about my vegetables and gravy one time, and that was upsetting. Thankfully, I learned my lesson about that and did not eat any sort of burnt section of the vegetables and gravy. Thankfully, it wasn't as severe of a mess. But yeah, I didn't want to waste the food, and also at the time, I also still ate the potatoes with the skins on. Like, I still mashed the potatoes and just let the mashed potato skins be in there because I was like, hey, adds to the vitamins and stuff like that. Nowadays I just peel the potatoes, but also I don't do russet potatoes anymore. I usually pick out the yellow/gold potatoes, and I peel the skins off of them, because the yellow-gold potatoes, the potato skins don't taste very good. I hate the red potato skins. Those things are nasty. I hate those. Ugh. But russet potato skins, they're pretty good. If you add a little butter, a little salt on them, you can eat those too. It's especially better if there's still a little bit of potato attached to the potato skin, so yeah. In case you are incredibly poor, russet potatoes are your friend. Also, rice is your friend. Rice and beans are technically your friend. Am I a hater of beans? Yes, but am I gonna still say that they're your friend? Also, yes. Speaking of beans, I love talking about food way too much, goodness sakes. But speaking of beans, my mom is so kind. I realized after getting back from the grocery store that I forgot to get myself a couple cans of green beans, because I'm like, I want to eat some green beans. Because the beans that I like to get are not the beans that are used elsewhere in the house. And I'm like, oh, crap. And my mom is so kind. She brought me home a couple of cans of green beans, and she was like, here you go. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. And then we went on a walk, and then I immediately ate them as soon as pretty much like less than an hour after I got home. I was like, beans. Just pop open the can, stick them in the microwave after draining all the extra juice for like 2 minutes, and then salt and pepper them. Delicious. Green beans are so good. I've been craving vegetables like all freaking days, so that was perfect for me. I've definitely noticed in the past few months that I crave vegetables a lot more often, which is really nice. I really like that. Because I used to be a fiend. I used to constantly eat pasta. It was very noticeable among my friends and peers. But I did try to, like, especially in college. In college, I made sure to eat some vegetables in some capacity when I was ever in the dining hall. Because I'm like, okay, girl, you gotta eat something. You gotta eat some veggies, please. You can't just eat that. Yeah. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm thinking about growing some green beans this year, actually. Maybe this is the year that I finally stop procrastinating gardening and get gardening. That'll be cool. Maybe I'll film little segments on my phone and use CapCut to upload it or something. Because I do still post a little bit of food videos every once in a while. Maybe I'll do little short clips tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to make my vegetables and gravy. It's not my personal recipe, in all honesty, but I do want to preface that even though it isn't my recipe, I definitely have kind of made it my own. Because 1, I double the recipe, and 2, I ignore the measurements when it comes to the spices. I just do an approximate. So I measure the sage, thyme, onion, and garlic powder with my soul, which can give very varied results. Same with the pepper, although I think I'm gonna go lighter on the pepper this time. The last time I kind of sucked. Also, I always add chicken that's been roasted in sesame and olive oil mixed together. I always add chicken into the mix because it tastes delicious with the chicken. It's like the perfect meal balance. It's got the potatoes for the starch and grains and stuff vibes. It's got your vegetables. And it's got, and then with the chicken bits, it's got meat. Yay! Fully balanced meal. And because it's kind of like a soup or something like that, it is so perfect for cold weather. I love it. I will constantly rave about it. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry, actually. It's been a good day. Whew. Ugh. I also got super lucky because there was a sale on ice cream at at my local supermarket, so naturally I bought two because it was on sale and I was very happy about it. So I'm like, yay, more ice cream for me. So that means I get to have ice cream after the stream. Haha. Ooh. Oh my goodness gracious, as per usual, I am tired, but in all honesty, I understand the tiredness because, as usual, I've discovered that I've distracted myself on a regular basis during the day, so then when the night comes and I'm trying to get ready for bed, I encounter the horrors of existential crisis constantly before I go to sleep. It keeps me up at night, and it would not shut up to the point that I'm like, okay, let's listen to some music. And then I proceeded to listen to random songs from Epic the Musical. Actually, it wasn't really random. I specifically chose ones that I'm like, yeah, I want to listen to this one. And then that chilled out the existential crisis and I was able to actually sleep. But it took me until like 2 in the morning. It really sucked. That really sucked. So, still a little sleepy. Maybe with some luck. I did confront the existential horrors, by the way. Sometimes you gotta confront them, and it sucks every time, and it's probably like 20 psychic damage or something like that. And I have 21 HP. Just constantly on 1 HP whenever the existential horrors come up, and I'm just like, that's great. Thanks. It's cool though. I was, like I said, I used music to combat it, and it chilled out my brain to allow me to sleep. Yeah. Best coping mechanism ever. Sit and listen to music. Unless you are super depressed and if you're thinking about listening to Mitski while being super depressed, don't do that to yourself. Don't do it. Do not listen to Mitski when you're in a bad place. Her music is good. Or is it their music is good? But either way, it'll not help. just an FYI. And I'm not the only one who would tell you this. There are a lot of people who, yes, the music is really good, but they're like, yeah, I can't listen to their music anymore because it just makes me feel worse because it's so relatable. It's good though. It's really good. I'm trying to remember which ones I've listened to of Mitski's. Was it Class of 2013? I think is one of their songs. I remember having that one on rotation in one of my playlists, and yeah, definitely was a little close to. Let me double check that. Let me check that. I want to make sure that I'm being accurate in my. Oh no! Don't get rid of the pixel circle generator. The pixel circle is very important. It saves myself whenever I play Minecraft, which I haven't touched in a while because I'm still mad about messing up. What's it called? Oh my gosh, I'm getting distracted by like 20 different things in my brain. Yep, okay, Class of 2013 is yeah, that's definitely one of Mitski's songs. Gosh. One of these days I'll listen to more than one song of Mitski's, but for now I'm gonna wait just a little bit longer, just a little bit. Ah, goodness gracious. Oh, right. I was saying I hadn't played Minecraft in a while because I got really mad about the fact that I forgot to turn on my mic and check the audio sources when I recorded last for the bakery. So I was doing so well too. I was speaking, I was articulate and stuff. I would stop and go with my speech and just sometimes like stay quiet and allow the building stuff as B-roll footage, and I didn't have any sound on there, not even Minecraft game sound. So yeah, I am still upset about that. That is still bugging me, and I'm like, no, I don't want to re-record and go back. I just want it to be there. Oh well. Hopefully that is a strong enough reminder to me to remember to make sure that the headset is 1, connected, 2, receiving input, and 3, receiving output, and 4, getting picked up in OBS. Always check your audio levels before the stream or recording starts. It will save you a lot of grief. Sometimes I think I got it, and sometimes I don't. Like, shoot. I am very cautious these days about that because of that incident. Like, every time I start a stream, I make sure, 1, my headset is fully charged. It's always on the charger right after the stream. And then 2, I turn it on before once I boot up OBS, I turn it on and I go blah, 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 or something like that. I make a really weird noise. Today's weird noise to check if the audio was working was me trying to make an impression of the dial-up sound. If you don't know what that is, take a moment to look that up. You will not be disappointed. It's very jarring if you're not used to that sound. If you're an old fart like me, I say old fart even though I'm like almost 30, and that's not really that old. 30 isn't really that old. It's like 3 decades. I think you start, like, I mean, there's a reason why they call it over the hill when you turn 50. Like, that's when you start really actually getting old. I think, anyway. And even then, old is kind of a state of mind, in my opinion. As in, like when you start acting old, like, not doing stuff anymore or something like that. Like, for obvious reasons, if it's, like, not doing stuff when you totally can do things, sort of deal. I'm trying to word it properly so that it makes sense and I can communicate my thoughts clearly, but it doesn't always work, which is extremely frustrating. This is what communication skills are for. They're magical. Very magical indeed. Okay, we're good. Spin, strike, snap. Excellent. Okay, my brain is doing the eepy sleepies, which means I need to do a big stretch. Reach my arms high above my head and straighten out my posture, then proceed to not do the rest of the arm stretches because I don't want to die. Okay, now we'll do the rest. Arms high above your head, stretch the right arm a little bit towards the left side, left arm a little towards the right side, up and high in the sky, and then slowly lower your arms on the sides like a starfish and down. If you feel a little bit of strain on your shoulders, that means you are stretching your shoulders. Yay! It's very good to stretch. And also fix your posture, which is something I work on constantly. Does it always work? No. And my knees and back are not forgiving me for that transgression. Transgression. That's magical. Woo! I hope you didn't hear that, but I also kind of hope you did. That was my spine if you heard a snap. Don't worry, it is not a broken spine. I would probably be crying and immediately end stream. Like, if I ever got injured or something like that, stupid, I would just end stream. I'm not gonna clip farm my pain. That's a bad idea. Whee! Time for another drink of water. That's the good stuff. Water is good for the soul. It makes me think about going swimming again. I have not... I'm trying to think of when the last time I've actually gone swimming. Like, ever. It's been way too long, actually. Like, it's been... Shoot. Oh my gosh, I don't think I've swum since, like, high school. Oh no. Oh no. I haven't swam in a decade. Oh boy. Hope my muscle memory still works. I say as if I'm actually gonna ever go again. I probably should practice again. Crap. Dang it! Not right now. I'm not jumping in no rivers or lakes or ponds. For obvious reasons. They're a little stinky. And the community pool is currently closed, so... If there's an indoor pool, I could go for it. That's possible. Book a room at a hotel, use the hotel pool. That'd actually be a funny idea. Just book a room at a hotel so then I can use the hotel pool or something like that and swim there. Do some laps. I don't think there will be much of laps doing because obviously kids staying there are gonna be in there. I think that's the case with any pool that children regularly swim in. It's just gonna be like, And it's not because of kids specifically, it's because of what kids do. Little gremlins. They're just figuring things out, I totally get it. There's a reason why it's a running joke. But maybe I should still try to swim again. Oh no! I just realized. Okay, fun fact. I got really lucky that when I went to the DMV, I was informed that I was still fine-ish with my tabs. I was really lucky that I didn't get pulled over. Oh my gosh, they were expired. Ugh. But I was gonna call my eye doctor and I forgot again. And I managed to find the exact tilt point where my eyeglasses actually work for me. And I am very sad about the fact that I have to tilt them slightly downwards, so like the ear section is a little higher or something like that, just so that I can see properly. I forgot to call my eye doctor. I have half a mind to just be like, forget it, I'll just wait until my glasses just do horrible things, but at the same time I'm kind of like, I want to see again. I want to see better again. I don't want to have guesswork when it comes to seeing things like 10 feet away. Like, for example, I'm a little bit distant from my laptop that is doing the active streaming. Like I'm about 4 or 5 feet away. That's a rough estimate. The text is slightly blurry on the screen at 4 or 5 feet away. I used to have better eyesight. When I was in middle school, Like, most classrooms are about 10 to 12 feet or 15 feet across. I had to squint from the back of the classroom to be able to see. Thank goodness my teacher that I went to that math class in, by the way, thank goodness that teacher was so nice. She was like, hey, you should probably get your eyes checked. You probably need glasses because you're squinting all the time in the back. She was right, of course, and I'm like, thanks. So, shout out to my algebra teacher. Totally awesome. I hope she's having a good time. I should email her again sometime and be like, hey, just thinking about you. Thanks for checking in on me, because you're a cool teacher. Thanks for checking in on me all those years ago and being like, hey, girl, you need glasses. You're a real one. Shout out to the teachers who are still surviving in the profession. Because it is purely for the love of the game at this point. It is not about the pay. It is purely for the love of the game. And the game is not lovable at this point because the kids kind of low-key suck because the parents aren't actually raising them. The parents suck, and then the admin doesn't have the teachers' backs. I'm not advocating for like any sort of like corporal punishment, hell no. I'm just advocating for the fact that kids are gremlins and menaces. And the teachers really just want to do their job. I do recognize though that some teachers are in fact assholes and should probably switch to a different profession. Not nursing, by the way. We have too many mean girls in nursing. Get the frick out of here. Get those mean girls out of nursing already. We don't need any more mean girls in nursing. Get them out. Go, I don't know, do something else. I don't know. Or stop being mean. How about that? Meh. I do wonder, okay, there's like this whole thing of like the mean girl to nurse pipeline. But what about the nurses who aren't women? What about the nurses who are men? Are they mean? Are they mean guys? Are they in the same vein of mean guys? Or is it different? I do know that usually like people are like, yeah, the mean guys end up becoming cops. But is that the case? Do they also go into nursing? Or is it different? Or do they not? Wait, maybe the mean guys don't go into nursing because they hear the word nurse and assume it's a feminine profession, when in reality, men and women can both be nurses. And then, of course, doctors can also be men and women. Okay, there might be a layer of sexism that that I need to examine in terms of that. So maybe what kind of men go into nursing? That's the question. That's the question I'm trying to solve now. And of course, obviously not all mean girls are nurses and not all nurses are mean girls. There are plenty of super nice nurses who will have the patient's back and won't just like assume like drug seeking behavior or anything like that, or just not listen to the patient. No, there's plenty of nurses that will have your back and will actively go to bat for patients against doctors who are being dum-dums. Which can and will be frequent because doctors, they spend a lot of time in medical school and forget that they are still not God. They can defy God. I say in a term of speaking. They can defy fate, but it doesn't always work, and they need to remember that they are not gods. They have learned medicine. Maybe the butthead doctors were just in it for the money. I do understand for some doctors who were pressured into becoming a doctor by like family and family expectations, that's totally understandable. I'm like, I totally get it. Like if you hate doing that and you were just kind of pressured into it by family expectations, I do not blame you. And I hope that you are able to enjoy the salary that you get from that, because goodness sakes, you worked your ass off for something that you didn't even want. Unless you did want it, then congrats, good job. Congrats on getting the white coat and completing your residency and all that. Because that is hard. Every once in a while I do think, hey, what if I went to medical school? And I'm like, girl, you would not be able to handle it. And it's not just because of the stress and pressure that comes from doing all the chemistry stuff and memorizing things and having to make sure to pay attention to all the tests and so forth, titrations, labs, lab reports, and things. There's also a really simple and important matter, is that I don't do well when blood is not where it's supposed to be. And I say that specifically for obvious reasons. Oh dear. But if blood is not where it's supposed to be, my brain decides that it's time to take a nap. The short version is I kind of faint at the sight of blood. The long version is my brain freaks out, my blood pressure drops, I get dizzy, and I need to lay on the ground. Otherwise, I'm going to lay on the ground regardless, but it's going to hurt a lot more. I discovered that in high school. We were watching Of Mice and Men, and it was the scene where Curly's fist gets crushed. They show it kind of graphically in the film. I did not expect that. But I was like, oh, and my brain just kind of was like, ugh. And at first, I thought I was going to throw up. So I go over to tell my teacher, I just sneak over to my teacher. I'm like, hey, teach, I'm going to go to the bathroom because I think I'm going to throw up. Of course, she's like, and of course, like me, I'm just like, whatever, because I'm used to dealing, I wasn't particularly a healthy kid in high school, okay? But... So I go to the bathroom, totally expecting to throw up, but I don't, because it's not that kind of nausea. It's literally my brain is like, hey, what's oxygen? What's blood pressure? Who's that? I don't know her. Beep. I didn't faint in the bathroom, thank goodness, but so I go out and I realize, oh, I'm getting dizzy. I'm going to pass out. So I literally leaned on the door of like this one hallway. I leaned on the door and held on to that and just like breathed for a while until like the dizziness and everything. Like I lost my vision there for a bit. It was wild. But after my vision like cleared and I was like properly like I just focused on breathing the whole time. I don't know if I actually fully passed out, but I focused on that and I made sure that I was leaning on something so I didn't like fall over, because I'm like, okay, if I pass out I'm gonna hit the floor and it's gonna hurt. And then after like I came to, I think I was still focusing on breathing and stuff. I was like, okay, my brain probably doesn't have enough oxygen despite the fact I was focusing on breathing, so I laid on the ground, elevated my feet to try to add a little bit of gravity to get the blood flow going. And then after a little while of like laying on there, I was like, okay, I don't know how long I was out. I should probably tell the teacher that I'm okay. I just passed out for a little bit, but I'm okay, and I'll be right back in. I told her, and then I was sent home. And I was like, I don't know what the issue is. So what if I passed out? I'm fine. Because I don't know, maybe I just recognize that, okay, clearly this is something that just happens to me. Where it's not like a serious medical condition, it's just the fact of the matter is, my brain freaks out when blood is not where it's supposed to be. And it's like, and freaks out, panics, does all the stuff that I mentioned before, and it's just something I have to live with, and that is one of the reasons why I cannot be a doctor or a nurse. What's extra funny is I briefly in the past year was like, what if I became a phlebotomist? I'm totally messing it up. Basically someone who studies blood, and I'm like, girl, if you even think of doing that, why would you do that to yourself? The things I do. Yeah. Gosh, I have so many silly fainting stories with that. Not so many, just two. That one, and then the other one when I was getting my blood drawn for a blood test. I don't think I actually warned the attendant at the lab that I passed out. I can't remember if I told them. I feel bad now because I don't think I told. No, I did. Maybe I did. But she did tell me afterwards. She was like after that whole ordeal, because I made a mistake. I looked at the blood vials and I was like, oh dear God. But I also hadn't eaten in a while and I got like 3 vials drawn from me, so I'm like, ugh. That was not fun. I felt like garbage. I had a Snickers bar and a Capri Sun afterwards, and then I sat in the lobby for like 20 minutes, just kind of staring into space, slowly sipping at my Capri Sun and eating my candy bar. But afterwards she was like, hey, yeah, just so you know, if we do this again, we're gonna try the laying flat thing to see if that helps with the passing out thing. It felt very sandy. Losing blood is crazy, man. It's crazy. You get all clammy and stuff. It's ugh. Gross. Anyway, so funny. Yeah. Yeah. The lab person was super nice too. She was super nice. Like, straight to the point. Okay, we got this. We got the lab request sent in. We got the paperwork. Okay, gotta pay this. Okay, cool. And then we got down to business, and yeah. And it was all taken care of, and then I'm trying to remember. There was something I was gonna say about that particular story, and I forgot what it was. Dang it. Okay, I talked about the fact that I probably needed to lay down. Oh, I remember now. I mentioned to her prior to this because I had to not eat within a certain time period before the blood draw. I think I still ate a little too soon before the time to not eat was in, so cholesterol was a little bit high in the blood draw, but who knows? Maybe I'll do it again. But I did forewarn her, and I was like, okay, I apologize in advance. If I'm a little mean, it's because I haven't eaten in a while. I'm going to make sure to not be mean, but if I am, I apologize in advance, because I just get cranky when I'm hungry, but I do have a Snickers bar. Thankfully, I was not mean. So I'm very glad of that. I was super conscious of the fact that I was like, okay, it's early in the morning. I'm kind of mildly cranky. I'm getting my blood drawn. I'm probably gonna not feel great after this, and yeah. It took me like 20 minutes before I was like, okay, I'm ready and safe to drive home. It was good. It was good though. It was good. I was able to find out the issue with the B12 and iron, and now I take supplements, and I'm happy about that. Once again, being a doctor or doing any sort of medical field is hard and scary. And unfortunately for me, if it involves blood, or broken bones or anything like that, I won't be able to do it. And that sucks. Because I would love to be able to help people in that capacity, but unfortunately, physical limitation says no. And I hate that it's an actual physical limitation. This was also something that I knew kind of early on when I was in, like, my tweens and early teens. In the religion I grew up in, we would prep for a girls' camp by, like, doing a little first aid certification thing. I never got my first aid certification because there were a couple times where they would talk about certain things. The CPR thing was fine. The broken bones part was not, because unfortunately I have a vivid imagination, so I imagined, and I felt very sick, and yeah. I always ended up dropping out of, like, halfway through the first aid certification, which really sucks, because it would be really good to be first aid certified. But I always feel sick when I go through any sort of courses with that. This is a problem. This is an active deterrent for me being able to be helpful in situations. I think when it comes to those situations, I have about a 2.5 to 3 minute window before I start like not being able to function when those situations arise. I haven't tested it yet. I don't want to actually test it, but if it comes up, I will bring a timer the next time and I'll let y'all know. If that ever comes up, I'll let y'all know how long it took for me to pass out. That sounds so crazy. That sounds insane out of context, but yeah. Yeah. There was also this one thing. This is also a girls' camp story. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I'm talking about girls' camp era. That was a depressing time. But for some reason, there was like this activity where we did a disaster scenario, and the girls pretending to be injured did very well, to the point where I was so overwhelmed that I basically ran away from the screaming humans and hid somewhere in the woods. I left the activity and I did not come back because I was stressed out of my mind. I just completely shut off. It scared the living shit out of me. I'm like, please stop screaming. Yeah. Also, I'm like in my teens, tweens. I was not prepared for that. I'm like, ah. Nowadays, if a disaster kicks in, my brain is like, alright, I know what to do. Do I actually know what to do? Probably not, but chances are I'm gonna be alright. All like, okay, who knows first aid? Who's first aid certified? Okay, you guys take care of the people. You, random person there, call for an ambulance or something like that. A couple other people go down the road to, like, if, say, in this scenario it's an accident, a few other people go down the road and, like, wave your arms to try to warn drivers to slow the hell down, because obviously this is an accident area now. And then also try to find a way, can we move the accident out of the road or something like that. Like that sort of thing. Like, my brain, if I know the steps to handle something, I will be able to handle it. Unfortunately, that incident when I was a teen just trying to get through a disaster scenario activity, I did not know the steps. So my brain just shut off, and yeah. It just completely shut down, I think. I physically feel it in my... For some reason, I feel it between my eyes, which is really weird. Like, it's a physical reaction to something that was really uncomfortable and horrifying in my brain. It was a very formative experience. I was like, well, that was horrible. Never again. Just never again. You know, I'm starting to wonder if the leaders of that activity ever realized that I just freaking ran off and didn't come back at all. I wonder if they realized that. Did they care that some random kid from, like, one of the 15 freaking wards just, like, ditched an activity and just left and was like, nope, bye? Did they check? That's gonna bug me for ages now. Okay, granted, I just realized, now that I think about it, I'm trying to remember if this was the same camp year, but this might have been the same camp year that I sat on the dock near the lake, probably unsupervised, with my friend, and we both stuck our feet in the lake until our feet went almost numb. Because it was cold. It was cold in that lake. We did a polar plunge. So it was freezing. And I had my feet in the lake until they were bluish. What is wrong with childhood me? Oh my gosh. Oh, I was horrifically unsupervised. Oh no. At least they were nice enough to not try to shove me into activities, like, whenever I didn't want to go. Like, half the time, if I really didn't want to do something, I would stay in my tent, which was a pretty frequent thing. I'm really starting to think that I should seek I really should seek a diagnosis at this point. There's a lot of signs that I'll have to make a freaking binder documentationing that shit. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. Do I want to? Wait, do I want to get diagnosed in this in this current state. Do I want to do that? Is that a bad idea? Is it a bad idea to have that on the record right now? Maybe I'll wait a little bit longer. But it would be kind of nice to know. Maybe. Gosh, there are so many scenarios where I'm like, why did nobody check? Why did nobody check? Oh. In all fairness, I was spawned from like the 90s and grew up in the early 2000s, which if you know anything about the social climate of that time period, would not be a wise idea for me to get any sort of specific diagnosis, because oh my gosh, any sort of like depression or anxiety or anything like that was very much ridiculed, looked down upon. It was like a hush hush thing, because it still gets kind of put that, especially from the boomers. But in some fairness, I say some fairness because it still sucks and it's really freaking annoying and times have changed, but in some fairness, they just sent family members away and didn't actually take care of them. They just sent them away to really crappy asylums when they didn't want to deal with with people's emotional struggles or even illnesses and stuff like that. It's really sucky. Oh crap! No, I don't think I have that book anymore. Oh, chat. There's this one book that I really loved. It was about Nellie Bly and how, as a reporter, like, she wasn't initially taken seriously as a reporter because, you know, sexism. And one of the things she decided to do is report on the conditions in asylums and how they treated people who were considered to be insane. This was how they talked about this, unfortunately, back then. And so what she did is she pretended to be insane so she would get committed to one of them, and found out that the conditions were absolutely horrible. Like, people were not treated well, they were kept in really crappy clothes, the nurses were horribly mean to them, washed them in freezing cold water, like, it was bad. Like, and this information I'm getting from a freaking children's book, so it was sanitized. But it's still told of, like, the absolute horrendous conditions in there. And it took one of her friends' help to get her out, because she couldn't get out. They just kept her in, even though she proved herself sane. She was like, hey, let me out. I'm not supposed to be here. And of course, they're horrible. And then once her friend vouched for her and she was able to be out, of course, they were like, oh crap. And her report on those horrible conditions, I don't know if they improved everywhere, but I believe, at least according to the little storybook that I read from it, it did improve the conditions at that place, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the nurses got kicked, but things got better in those places. Yeah, shout out to Nellie Bly. She's passed now, but shout out to that journalist who went in and dealt with so much BS to get that scoop. Goodness sakes. And also make a change in things, too. I wonder if those books are still in that bookshelf. I kind of want to check. Chat, do you want me to check? I want to check. I want me to check. I want to see. I want to see. I'll run really fast, okay? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Oh my goodness, my knees are actually going out. You can't hear me anymore. Ow. Oh, yes, let's freaking go. Ow. Oh god. Oh god, my knee. It's worth the Twitch mute, haha. I still have the books! I don't have it with me because I didn't want to take that long. Also, I really need a drink. Maybe I should just do the stream pause thing, or the be right back and then refill my water because it's almost empty. Oh my gosh, I winded myself a little. Okay, I didn't wind myself, I'm just a wimp. Hang on a second, let me get my breath back. Woo! That's some good stuff. Okay. Can't believe I didn't even check the timestamp. Okay. Chat, I got a great idea. I'm gonna be right back. And when I'm back, I will have grabbed the specific book I was just talking about. We're doing this again. But okay, here's the be right back screen. I'm gonna refill my water and stuff. Here you go. Hi chat, I'm back with the book. I need to warm up, so I might briefly turn off the mic. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize walking did things like that. Yeesh. Whew. Guess who's gonna need to wear warmer things? Me! Ah! Jump scare. At least I know where I'm at. Okay. Giving myself a second to think about what I'm gonna do, including drink some water so that my throat doesn't dry out too. And that way I can breathe and talk all of your ears off while I take down all of these dusks just to get a few more XP. I know that didn't really rhyme at all. I know this is just a parody that I'm improvising for you for my own entertainment, and I think I really need to stop. Sorry, I couldn't help it. His song parodies are my bread and butter almost. I say bread and butter, but I mean, I've done them quite a few times. I'm not doing a compilation of that. I will have to hunt for it. So, like I said, Chad, I found the book that I was just talking about a few minutes ago. And we still have the entire collection of these books. They were called Value Tales, and they like talk about like respect, kindness, that sort of thing. By Anne Donegan Johnson. And the one that I have that I used to read a lot was The Value of Fairness, but I just liked reading about Nellie Bly's story and how she changed stuff. Legend, absolute legend. Ooh, let's go to page 63 because I did summarize the whole thing. Oh, I forgot about the moldy food. I think she also discovered that, wait, pull it. Oh, shoot. Wait a minute. Is this where we find out? Yeah, okay, it was about Blackwell's Island. Pulitzer. Ain't no way. Oh, there's more stories about her other than that. Oh, there's also a segment where she tries to do the whole around the world in 80 days thing. Huh. I can't remember. She probably succeeds in this. Huh. Wow. I'm so sorry I'm getting distracted by a book again. This is not the first time, but I used to read these constantly, specifically this one. I loved learning about Nellie Bly. Oh, wow. Oh, she's a Pennsylvania gal. Wow. Wow. Oh. That wasn't even her real name. That was her pen name, by the way. What a legend. Dang. Oh wow, she didn't just deal with the Blackwell's Island. She, according to this, disguised, she exposed fraudulent employment agencies. She framed herself on a theft charge with a friend and got arrested. She wrote about the injustices to women prisoners. She threw herself off a ferry boat to test the efficiency of the rescue crew. She exposed a corrupt lobbyist. And she encouraged women to defend their rights. Oh my gosh. And no one knew that she was really just her instead of a team of, oh my gosh, they thought it was a team of mem reporters. Of course. That is so funny. What a legend. That is so cool. Yeah, there's other books in that collection. I'm not sure about the one about Columbus, though. We can skip that one. The Value of Curiosity. Goodness sakes. Edison. Anyway. I love how The Value of Helping is about Harriet Tubman, who is one of the most amazing, legendary women who helped free people in the South. What a legend. I mean, I guess these stories are one... I actually don't know much about the author, so I can't make any judgments, but I do understand that these are meant to be written as stories that are specifically about historical figures that are true, of course, but they are watered down a little bit to be digestible to kids. And it's got some illustrations in there. They were very thorough on making sure that kids would understand it. And boy oh boy, I never forgot about that. Love it. She was a real one. That is so cool. So awesome. I love how I pull out the book, talk about it for a few seconds, and then I'm like, okay, back to grinding. I mean, to be... What the f... Alright, we had all hands to the launch bay, apparently. What time is it? That makes sense, actually. That makes perfect sense. Okay, good. All is good in the world. Wait, did I... That was fast. I'm just so happy that that collection of books is still in the house. I was like, oh, please, please, not that one, not that selection of books. Please let them still be around. And I was like, yes! Yes, I still get to read it. I can still read more of these. Even though I literally mostly read just one. Oh, man. Okay. It's always a sad thing whenever, like, you think of a book or something that you haven't seen or read in a while, and then you're like, hey, what if I read this or watch this? And then you find out that you got rid of it at a garage sale a few years ago, and you're just like, no. That happened to me with a collection of cards that I had that had facts about rocks. I really wish I kept that, but my dumb self was like, I'm gonna be serious. No, dumb, you should have kept that. I'm still mad at myself for that one, actually. Because I don't know which place I would need to order those from. I'm pretty sure that those mail order catalog things are gone. Speaking of mail order catalogs and so forth, I think we used to get National Geographic Kids or something like that. And one of my favorite issues that I read over and over and over again was about volcanoes. I, for some reason, loved that issue. I read it over and over again. There were specific parts that I really liked. I think also there was one about ancient Egypt, which had some of like the standard stuff in those articles because it's what they do to get kids interested in them. I can't remember the other issues, but I remember those two specifically. Specifically the volcanoes. Volcanoes are cool, you know? I could have been a volcanologist. I could have been an earth scientist. I could still do that. It would just take me a little bit longer to get into the field and stuff, but I could do it. Just spend my days checking out what lava components are. Probably not playing with the lava. I probably would not want to play with it. It would probably give me worse burns than the hot glue. Oh. That was beautiful. Oh my goodness. No! I should be able to move my... I was gonna say mouse, but this isn't a mouse, this is a PS4 controller. I was gonna say imagine controlling a Kingdom Hearts game with a mouse, and then I remembered that the PC port exists. How does that even play? I'm curious to see what sort of shenanigans go involved with the PC port. Also, I imagine the mods are extensive, especially now. Like, back then, like, modding stuff was, like, super rare because it was kind of hard to crack the console and be able to mod the games. But now, with, like, PC copies of the game, it's a little bit easier to crack it and mod it. I always liked when people did texture mods for their games, just to, like, make their gameplay visually distinct and be like, hey, it makes it clear, oh yeah, okay, it's this person's gameplay. Plus, it was fun to see the characters in different cool outfits. I like the ones where they were cool outfits, not weird ones. You know. Retexturing things gets really funny really fast. Or really weird really fast. Depends on your perspective. Ooh, we're below 5,000. Let's go. That's a nice number too, 4,999. Very beautiful number. Woo! I just realized I'm gonna eventually have to put the book back. Darn it. I can put it back at the end of the stream, it's fine. That'll be a while, but I can put it back. Or I can read it and then put it back later. It's only about 63 pages. Because the historical facts were literally on page 63, it said so. The book said so. It's not like all a comprehensive history, but it does go into detail about some of the stuff that Elizabeth did. What a legend. It's fun to learn history, it's very fun. It can also suck to learn history. Not because of anything boring, it's more like you see something happening and it looks like it's the same thing that has happened a while ago that you learned in history class, and then you're like, uh-oh. Here we go again. Let's not do that, please. Can we not do that again? No? Okay. That's not gonna be fun. It's that whole seen this play or played these games before, seen this play before, and I don't like the ending or something like that. No, it's I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. That's the one. I've never actually heard the full song from that. I'll have to look that up later. That's the curse of TikTok, is half the time you only hear like a small part of the song in a video, like 15 seconds, maybe a minute at most. These days, especially a minute at most. And, where was I going with this? Yeah, you only get like 15 seconds, maybe a minute at most for the song segment. And, then you like listen to the rest of the song and either A, you find out that, hey, this song is pretty great, or B, you find out that that is the literal best part of the song and that's it. That is the only great part of the song. Or you get that one incident with Unholy where the sound, when it was going promoting and stuff like that, was pretty good. And then when it actually came out, it kind of sucked. That sort of thing. And you're just like, oh. This is what it turned out as. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that. Oh my goodness, I think I'm gonna sneeze, but it's probably gonna go away now that I mentioned it. It might not. Let's see. Will I sneeze? The answer was an affirmative. I have Managed to avoid sneezing into the microphone, so I'll take it. I love the ability to mute myself just by flipping a little switch. The little arm of my microphone, I just flip it up and it turns off, and then flip it down and it turns back on. Fastest mute button in my life. Does it always work? No. Because sometimes I cannot flip up the mic in time. And that is a-okay. Sometimes sneezes just happen. And you just have to accept it. Why am I in pain? What the heck? Okay, I fixed it. We are making some excellent progress, by the way. Very good progress. Oh, goodness gracious me. I'm wondering, this is just an idea, if I push it far enough, will I be able to do one of those half and half streams and actually do the half and half this time on Thursday? If I make enough progress here tonight, then I could do half and half, where maybe I play until I get to level 43, and then the rest of the stream on Thursday is just Birth by Sleep Command Roulette. Because I haven't done Command Roulette in a while. I was going to do it last Thursday, and then I didn't do it because of the shenanigans that happened. Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? What is going on in the group chat? Holy crap. It's going crazy in there. Kind of excited to read it. Whew. Overall, I'm doing pretty dang well in this stream, actually. Pretty dang well. I just realized something. Have I actually double-checked that, that the thing I heard earlier was what I thought it was? Am I about to get a surprise? And not a pleasant surprise? Oh, dear Lord. Well, that's beautiful. It smells like rain. Or it's just cold. It could be that. It is pretty chilly. Chilly, chilly, chilly. Maybe we'll get snow. Or maybe not. Who knows? Either way, it's gonna get cold. I'm not looking forward to the cold. Because it makes my poor lungs shrivel up and my throat close and it sucks. That is a legitimate thing, by the way. If I get too cold, I end up having like the worst coughing fits. So I purposely, if I get to that point, I have to like purposely almost overheat myself just to stop coughing. It's very annoying, but it's also very effective. So I'm glad I can resolve my coughing issues if I have them. What the heck? Where am I going? Yay! Oh. I'm trying to think of whether or not that's a post-had COVID thing, or if it's just I've only noticed it after that. I had it back in like late 2022 or something like that, which really sucked. I hated it. That was so horrendous. And for some freaking reason, I didn't call off work. I just worked from home, half dead. Dumbest idea yet, by the way. I don't actually know if I actually had COVID, but I'm pretty sure I did because half the team had it from getting back from the work trip, and I was like, crap. And I sat next to one of them, so I'm like, yeah. That was fun. I did not feel good after that. That was a rough time though, cause like that was literally like during my work trip was when I saw the news of Technoblades passing. That really messed me up. And I'm like, I have literally no one in my, like, none of my coworkers. I can talk to none of my coworkers about this. I can't talk to any of them about this. So I was talking to my friend and stuff, and then I proceeded to watch the entirety of the Potato War and cried like a baby. I'm thinking of that again, one, because of that being a rough week, and also two, since Hytale recently, like, at least early access has started up and stuff, and Techno would have freaking loved Hytale. He probably would have figured out a way to be a menace on there. I have very limited knowledge of what's going on. I need to watch some of the streamers that I watch to get a glimpse of what they're playing through. But he would have loved it, and gosh dang it. Miss that menace of a man. Oh, jeez. Crazy. What the heck? For a second I thought the UI disappeared and reappeared, but maybe that's just my brain having a nap or something like that. It could be it. I've got plenty of time to time travel, because the streams are running a little bit behind my speaking and stuff, so... Whee! Okay, I missed the part where I would have seen that if that indeed happened, so that's on me. I can probably rewind, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste my time rewinding over things again and again just to figure out whether or not I'm going crazy or something like that. That's a silly idea. Oh my goodness. I'm thinking about my, the bakery thing again, and how I'm frustrated about the footage not being good. Maybe I'll work off of that, maybe use that as B footage or something like that. Maybe I'll record something else and then show segments of the footage that was unusable. Use that as my B-roll. That could work. That could in fact work. I can make... This is good. I like this plan. I like this plan a lot. Because that means I still get to use the footage that I had, but I also record something new that gives me a better outline of what to say and what to do. Yeah. There we go. I'll have to do a quick skim through of things, just so that I know what I was talking about. Because it'd be good to know. Like, for example, during that recording, I actually did some redstone and slowly figured something out, and I was very proud of myself for setting something up that could be usable. Oh, gracious. Those are 4s, but I'm okay with that. Technical terms, I think we're a little bit behind. No, we're not behind. We're doing good. I think we're still on pace. I only say on pace just because of, like, that one time with the average amount of XP on a stream or something like that. I am totally fine if I'm below or behind pace, because I don't want to drive myself crazy, like, getting too great. Like, you know, it's just something to keep the brain going and be like, okay, this is the general idea of where I want to be. And thankfully, y'all got to you didn't have to be here for the first 19-ish levels. I mean, if you still remember, if you were around during the time, which frankly I don't think any of y'all were for when I was doing some earlier streaming or something like that of this particular thing. I don't remember when I was when I was doing that. I bet there's a clip out there of me philosophizing again. There definitely is, I'm sure of it. I philosophize a lot. I think about the meaning of life constantly. We're getting a lot of 40s instead of 80s. Which probably means I need to drink water, so I'm gonna do that. But I'm not gonna move forward. No, I'm gonna move forward as I drink water. Because I want to keep the ball rolling. Maybe I need 2 hands for this because the freaking lid won't turn. Turns out, yes, I needed 2 hands because I couldn't open the lid. The curse of trying to pin a water bottle that is metal in a long sleeve shirt. It's just gonna keep spinning instead of actually staying like stationary while you turn the lid. Fun facts. Smooth metal will in fact spin against fabric instead of staying in place. The power of friction will not save you in that scenario. Shame we couldn't get the 4-4s, but we'll get 4-4s in another day. In all honesty, it probably is good in some cultures to not get the 4-4s. That's a scary number in some cultures. I don't know if it's... I do know of 4 being a big, like, yikes, that's a scary number in Japan and China for different reasons. I don't know if that's the case in other countries. At least in the Asian hemisphere. Is it technically hemisphere with that? More specifically, the Asian continent section area. Maybe that'll be our next Google search. Our next search. Should I say superstitions about the number 4? It'll get me the results. I love it. Get away from me, AI. Ah, because it is associated with death. Huh. And the word root for the thing is it's tetraphobia, which is derived from an ancient Greek word of tetras and phobos. Anyway, according to the Wikipedia article, it is the superstition most common in East Asian nations and is associated with death. Ah, and the Wikipedia article shows an example of the number 4 missing in a parking lot in Japan. Okay, so the word for 4, so in Chinese the word for 4 sounds quite similar to the word for death. Similarly, the words in Japanese, Korean, and Vietnamese, the words for 4 also sound similar or identical to death in each language. That is very interesting. Okay, tetraphobia is known to occur in Korea and Japan since the 2 words sound identical to each other in both languages, but not in Vietnam because the Vietnamese words have different tones to distinguish the 2 words, and the native Vietnamese words for 4 and death are much more widely. Okay, there's a difference between Sino-Vietnamese and Vietnamese. That is interesting. That is very interesting. And it surpasses... Okay, let's see if I can pronounce this. triskaidekaphobia, which is the Western superstition around the number 13. And tetraphobia is bigger than that. It even permeates the business world in Asia. That is so interesting. Wow. Oh, that's kind of funny to see that when Beijing lost its bid to stage the 2000 Olympic Games, it was speculated that the reason China did not pursue a bid for the following 2004 Games was because of the unpopularity of the number 4 in China, and so they waited another 4 years so they could host the 2008 Olympic Games, since the number 8 is a lucky number in Chinese culture. That is so crazy! Oh, wow! What happens in Malaysia and Singapore and Taiwan and Indonesia and Vietnam and South Korea. Wow. That is so interesting. Oh, shoot. It even is in outside of Asia. Richmond Hill, Ontario banned the number 4 on new houses in June 2013. And property-owned developers in Vancouver omitted the number 4 from new buildings until 2015. That is so interesting. Huh. Wow. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. Oh, no. I just processed something while thinking about this. Do you think Nomura's gonna skip Kingdom Hearts 4 because of the 4? I just thought about that. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Are they gonna name it? Oh gosh. Are they gonna name it something? Wait. No, that's probably not gonna be a problem because we had Final Fantasy IV. Wait, was it one of the good ones though? Was Final Fantasy IV one of the good ones though? That's a good question. This is such a dumb question to search. I'm curious though. I'm curious. This might have bearing on the next Kingdom Hearts game, okay? Was Final Fantasy IV good? Or is Final Fantasy IV good? Okay, according to a Reddit post, it's a great starting point, very easy to pick up and play. The story is hokey, but whatever, it's fun. Huh. Okay. Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, wait a minute. Hey! I recognize one of the characters in that thumbnail. Hopefully the thumbnail is actually correct. Huh. Okay. We might be good. Okay. Yay, because I don't want to... Wait, are we going up? Yes, we're going up. Excellent. Okay, crisis averted. We'll still get Kingdom Hearts 4. It's just gonna take some time for the development. I wonder if they're dealing with story development shenanigans, or trying to clear out some other stuff. Because I know Missing Link got canceled, so they could focus solely on Kingdom Hearts 4. But I don't know what the development schedule is for Square. Obviously, I don't have any insider information, sadly. Oh my gosh, imagine if I just emailed someone in like the upper things with like, hey, can I just get some random KH news, like just to know it's in development or something like that? Is there like development timelines or anything, like that sort of thing? And then if there's anything that I can share. I think that'd be sick if I got a response from that. You're like, hey, is there anything I can share about Kingdom Hearts 4 to keep the fans chill for a minute? And if not, is like development, is there like some hiccups or anything like that that need resolving or anything, or you know, I just want to know things. I wanna build up the hype. Yeah. Of course, by the time it's coming out, by the time it comes out, the PS4 will probably be considered a dead console, which is really, really depressing. To be fair, though, I hope it doesn't get removed from PS Plus support, because that would piss me off. Are PS3 servers still online? They better be. I'd be mad if they aren't, actually. They probably aren't. Damn it. This is something to think about. Crud. But I'm pretty sure by the time KH4 comes out, we'll have the PS5 will be a pretty strongly established console. So, if I wanted to play it, I would have to get a PS5. I looked at one the other day, by the way, because I was like, hey, maybe I'll get a copy of Death Stranding 2, and even though I still haven't played the first one, get a PS5. And I took one look at the PS5, and I was terrified of that thing, because I was like, oh my gosh, this console is ginormous. In my defense, though, the consoles that I have, the beefiest console that I currently have is the PS2. Meanwhile, the Wii isn't that big. It's a little bulky, but it's not that big. And I'm pretty sure that my PlayStation is a PlayStation Slim. Just based on getting a first glance on it. So, I'm just like, that thing, the PS5, scares me. That thing is ginormous. I guess the performance makes up for it being a tower of terror. Scary. Yeah. Fun stuff. Fun fact, by the way, about my PS4. It is very quiet. It does not sound like a jet engine, which is a very impressive feat considering how long I've had it. I think I got it back in 2017, maybe? Maybe earlier than that. I'll have to check my records. I can't do that right now. But I'm pretty sure I got it at the same time that I bought, like, most of the Kingdom Hearts games, except for KH3, because it hadn't come out yet. Yeah, that sounds about right. That was fun. Whew. Energy. Whee! Ooh, and there goes my back. It has to be no later than 2018, early 2017 or something like that. That's when I got it. Fun times. But it's managed to not be a jet engine every time I start it up, and that is one of my biggest brags, is that it is not a noisy console for me. The noisiest console in the house is actually the Wii, which makes a lot of sense because we've had that for a while, and it was technically secondhand. Like, if I turn that thing on, it makes noise. The disk drive is loud as hell. I bet if I stand it, if I stand it upright, it won't make as much noise. It's currently horizontal because it fit better. But I bet if I made it vertical, it would probably be a lot less noisy. I'm trying to think of whether or not that's the case, though. Kind of reminds me of the DVD player we have, that some discs are just really freaking loud for no reason, either because it's like slightly thinner and it spins weird or something like that. And we'd have to like put a pillow over the top of the DVD player just to get it to quiet down, so then we didn't have to turn up the volume. That was a thing, by the way. No joke. Goodness me. We're getting the EPs again. It's a good day, you know why? because we're about to get below 4,000 and it's way before the 2-hour mark, which means I will be able to follow through on the plan of a half and half where I level up and then play Birth by Sleep in the style of Command Roulette. And then you'll actually get to see the proper switching game screen. Fun fact, by the way, about the switching game screen, I did initially plan to put music in, but then I realized it's just going to be on there for a short bit while I switch games. I don't need to have music in the background, plus the music is kind of atrocious. Because I thought I was being clever by doing only 7 measures of something instead of just a full 8, and so it actually actively pisses me off the more I think about it. And I think I should have just chopped the segments into 4 measures instead of 8 or 7. So yeah. I'll have to revise that later, or just make something else. I do still like my current intro song, but I might drop the... Oh, but I like the Morse code tag. It makes it very identifiable. I had to go through a lot of fun and effort just to make the Morse code thing work. I love when people make little things like that, by the way, where they make it so then you could have like an audio piece of the translated Morse code text. Makes it extra magical. Whee! By the way, I mentioned yesterday about like slowly changing into the cosplay and stuff. I did in fact do that, but I switched back before family got home, so yeah. It was still pretty funny because I was like, haha, that did almost happen where it was like, yeah, I'm just looking like I'm dressed like the mayor from Powerpuff Girls. Except for the wig. And the monocle is not next to the eyeball. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Gracious me. Guess who probably needs more water? Me. But I'm not gonna grab it just yet. I keep hearing... Okay, I think it's just the music that I'm hearing. I keep thinking I'm hearing, yeah, okay, I think it's just a French horn sound in the background of the orchestration. I need to sit up. It's good for me. I need to sit up and drink some water. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drink some water. Water is good for the soul. Oh, water, my beloved. May you never betray me, please. It has betrayed me before. Unfortunately. Whew, chili! That was weird. I love how I'm like, oh, chili, and then I'm like, haha, I'm gonna eat ice cream later. Very, very wise idea. I say that jokingly. I don't know what it is. This happens a lot, by the way. I have a higher tendency to eat cold foods during the winter and hot foods during the summer. It's extremely irritating that I keep doing this to myself. I don't know why I do it, but I do. Maybe because the ice cream keeps better when it's in colder weather. I think that's it. But then it like lowers my it doesn't actually lower my core temp, but it like does a little bit like it's a little chilly in here. Does a little temporary lowering, and I'm like, ah. Ooh, I know what I'm doing after the stream. I did mention before I finished rewatching GGO Alternative, and I was like thinking, maybe I'll watch the second season again, because I've only watched the second season once, and I kind of want to watch it twice just to experience it again. I noticed the art style is a little bit different, but I do understand it's like, one, the artists might have changed, and two, I think the studio's changed as well. But I'll pull that up and eat some ice cream and enjoy the weird chaos arc that is the Squad Jam 3. The Squad Jam 3 arc is so freaking nutty. And it's especially funny because the author of the light novels that like wrote the series, it's not Reki Kawahara, by the way, it's a different author. The author of the light novels. This was pre-Fortnite, with this Battle Royale thing going on. He accidentally predicted the shopping carts. You'll know it if you watch the season. It's actually a SAO property super worth watching. Like, even if you like a little bit of like slightly messy anime and stuff like that. GGO is so funny, because one, you get to see women being absolutely batshit crazy, and I say that with absolute love, because it's so funny. And two, people playing a goofy FPS game, and just being super dramatic about it, and intense. And it's great. I love it. It's great. I enjoy it a lot. Plus, I actually really appreciate the emotional arcs that happen in GGO Alternative. Like, the main character, Karen, or Len, she starts playing VR games to deal with her complex about her height, because she's super tall and she always felt like she stood out too much, and I think being super tall is more of an issue in Japan because then it makes you stick out a lot more. So she decides to try out VR games to try to deal with it, and she tries out a few before she finally gets an avatar that is short and cute like she wants to be. She's still a cutie, but she's much happier being a short cutie. Anyway, and she starts getting really into the game and stuff, and like using the game as her outlet for some of her frustrations and stuff. And then she meets another gal, Pito, who also is using the games to cope with her own issues. She's also just freaking crazy though, so yeah. She's just also an absolute nutcase. She's so fun though. She's so funny. She's crazy, but she's really funny. Would I probably be very scared of her in real life? Yes. She would scare me so bad. I would not be able to fix her. She would make me worse. But Len and Pito's weird friendship is really fun to watch. And you also just get to see people do crazy stuff with guns that obviously wouldn't really work IRL. It's great. It's great. I love it. I especially love the first season. The first season was so good. Because you get the build up with the first Squad Jam and like getting used to that. And then you have the second one with a really intense stakes because, like I said, Pito is freaking crazy. And then the second season doesn't feel as strong of stakes because I won't spoil too much other than the shopping cart thing. But the stakes are a little bit different. And then the second half-ish of the second season, I wasn't exactly sure how I felt about that. I feel like there was missing some parts and stuff, but it still followed through the theme of people using Gun Gale Online in that particular universe to deal with stuff. I wish they expanded a little bit more on that in the anime because that would have been so fun. Especially with like the reveal at the very end of the season. It's just like, Oh, okay, that's cool. That is an interesting way that they did that. That is very interesting. Very cool. I still love that. That part actually was really cool to me. I just wish there was more. It made me a little hungry for more. I'm like, I want a little more of like how people use these VR games to deal with their lives and whatever issues they have and compensate for the things that they struggle with in the real world. I don't know how much of a taste you technically get that with in the mainline series in the second season. Just to clarify, by the way, the second season includes the Gun Gale arc and frick, what was the other one? The really short Caliber arc and Mother's Rosario. Those are the 3 arcs that take place during the second season. And then the first season includes the Fairy Dance, Everybody Hates arc, and then of course the main Aincrad arc that started off the whole thing. That's the structure of that. So when I say second season, I mean the starting with the Gun Gale Online arc. Oh my gosh, please! The siren was pissing me off, I'm sorry. They did go a little bit, they did go into it of like how Xenon's character dealt with her own issue and trying to use the game as exposure therapy to deal with her absolute terror of guns because of that whole incident that happened to her as a child. I thought that was a really cool concept and stuff. I was gonna say, does it get overshadowed? It might be because I do legitimately enjoy certain aspects of the series, but I also respect that there are flaws. And I am okay with those flaws. Some of the flaws I am not okay with. Looking at you, random things that the editors did. Why did the artists do that? Why did they do some of those scenes, especially in some of the later seasons? It's like, why did you do that? I'm not looking forward to watching. I'm still scared of. I still haven't touched the Alicization arcs. Like the first arc and then War of the Underworld. I am so scared to touch either of those because I'm like, oh, this again. I can't do this a 3rd time. But the sound design is really crispy and the animation is touched up and it looks really pretty and fancy, and apparently the story is pretty fun. But there's a couple of scenes that I don't want to deal with. I don't want to deal with those scenes. I hate those so much. I hate those when they show up. It's just like, please stop doing those. For the love of God. No more. No more. Ugh. Gosh. By the way, for anyone who is confused, that is not my first anime series that I watched. Technically speaking, my first anime was Pokemon, but that was before I recognized it as an anime. And then the one that I did fully recognize as anime the first time that I actually watched it through was Ouran High School Host Club. And I watched half of the English dub. Half of the English dub on YouTube. And then the other half of the season was in Japanese with English subs. I got really lucky. I was just on the last era of being able to just watch full anime episodes on YouTube. That was so crazy. That was so funny too, actually. That was an experience. That was a full experience, especially when you get to the freaking Lobelia Girls episodes. Those are a little unhinged, and it's just like, what was that? What was that? Huh? Like, goodness me. I think it's like the 9th episode or something like that. I don't remember the specific number of episodes. It's the second Lobelia Girls episode. I was like, what is going on? I was just chilling, sitting at the dining table watching these episodes, by the way. Nobody seemed to care or notice. I was kind of unsupervised with my internet access, but I was careful about what I watched for obvious reasons. I was a dumb kid, but not that dumb of a kid. Yeah. Good times. I can't remember. No, this wouldn't have been the same year era. But I do also remember. What's funny, this is going back to the whole Sword Art Online thing. I actually distinctively remember, for some reason, I don't think my brain registered it. And this happens to me a lot when I watch anime series enough, because I've spent a lot of time watching some series I watch specifically with just subs because the dub is horrible. Either it's because it's an older dub that just, yikes. Sometimes it's just the delivery on some of the lines really sucks. I'm unfortunately looking at Cardcaptor. Don't even get me started on Cardcaptor's dubs. Just don't. I'm just gonna watch that in Japanese, I'm sorry. Same with Shugochara. I'm only gonna watch them in Japanese. I can't do the English dub. I can't do it, man. I can't. Hurts my soul. But, thinking about that, when I was watching, I didn't realize, it just didn't register to me. I think by that point I was used to watching a lot of shows in Japanese just because I wanted to see the show with English subs and stuff. So I did forget for a while until later on when I actually watched the English dub of the Gun Gale arc. I was like, wait a minute, I watched it the first time in the Japanese version and it didn't click with me. For some reason my brain thought it was watching it in English, but I was just so used to hearing, dialogue in Japanese when I'm watching anime that it doesn't like click for me, that I'm not actually hearing English. I don't know a stinking word, or I know enough to say thank you. I know enough to apologize. Probably not properly. I still forget some of the rules for apologizing. And I know how to count to 10 and make people scared of me counting to 10 because unfortunately I pronounce the number 4 like the same way they pronounce death. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. And then I know like a couple of words. Like I at least these days I know how to say like frick. Shoot. I think I know how to introduce myself and say please be nice to me. I think. I'm not entirely sure. Like, I just know, like, some basic stuff. It would not be enough to survive. I would not be able to do well, and I can barely read. I think I know one kanji, and it's river, which will not help me. I will not survive. I can recognize characters, though. I can recognize, okay, that writing is in Japanese, and I can there's like different, there's a differentiation between, like, one, I still haven't quite understood the difference between the different writing systems of kanji, hiragana, and katakana, but I do recognize the difference, but I can't quite, like, verbalize what the difference is. And I also recognize the difference between, Japanese writing systems and Chinese writing systems because they do it slightly differently. Like, the characters are very different. And Korean, I always know it's Korean because there's less corners and more oval-ish shapes in the writing system. So I always pick up on that. I'm trying to remember if I know what Vietnamese handwriting looks like, but I don't think I've seen enough of it to be able to clock it instantly. I think I can clock Sanskrit letters, though. There's a specific distinguishable, like, handwriting and stuff. And obviously I recognize Cyrillic letters, but unfortunately, with Cyrillic letters, I cannot currently differentiate between Ukrainian and Russian, which is really a shame because I'd really love to be able to differentiate between the two. I would love to be able to differentiate between those. It's important to me. And then I'm also, like, I also instantly pick up Arabic writing systems. One, because it's a very distinctive writing system, and two, because, I play this game, it's one of those games that you try to pay to win half the time, Whiteout Survival. It's one of those ones that is just kind of just there to make money and stuff. It doesn't suck, thankfully. Sometimes it sucks, but it doesn't suck all the time. Jeez Louise. But one of the best things that happens is that if you're in the right state, you are in the same state as a bunch of people who speak Arabic, and one of my favorite hobbies is to just sometimes read the world chat when the Arabs are online and arguing with each other, because they have the most creative insults on the planet. It is so freaking funny. And since there's a little translation feature, I'm able to read it, and every single time an argument starts, I'm like, alright, break out the popcorn, I want to see where this goes. Oh man, that was so, oh my gosh. Every single instances of those arguments are great. Oh my goodness. I want to learn about more writing systems now, that'd be pretty sick. Also, the squeaky toy sound was me hiccuping, by the way. Oh my goodness gracious! Wow! How the time flies. And it does indeed fly. Alrighty, that is gonna do it for the stream. Would you look at that? Over 2 hours. Oh my god. Menace. Anyway, that is gonna do it for the stream tonight. If you happen to enjoy, hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube, or the follow button if you're on Twitch. If you don't want to do either of those yet, but want to see if I'm doing more streams in one, you can follow me on twitter.com at yellowfang42, and also on Blue Sky, also yellowfang42. I also have a Tumblr. I finally got access to my Tumblr again. That's hilarious and terrifying. It is specifically just yellowfang42. There is nothing else. It's not the Dash blog. It's just yellowfang42. That's the one. You'll know it because it has the little kitty cat icon. So yeah, I don't post as much on the Tumblr because it's a little bit harder to do the stream announcements. Plus, Tumblr culture says please don't do that. They just appreciate the silliness and the human side of things. Alright. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm glad to make some progress. Hopefully we will be able to do a half and half on Thursday. I won't make promises because I know how my internet is sometimes. So, with that out of the way, have a good evening, afternoon, morning, whatever time of day it is, and here's your ending stream screen. Have a good one.